I'd like to welcome Jura Zibas today. She is a lawyer and partner at Wilson Elser and is co-chair of the firm's intellectual property practice and a member of the Information Governance Leadership Committee. Jura is also on the board of the Mentor Project and is a mentor with us. She has an extensive technology background and focuses her legal practice on intellectual property, technology, and commercial matters, intellectual property rights, cybersecurity, technology-related disputes, and complex business disputes. She's trained in chemistry and dentistry, combined with training in computer science, and she uses these skills she learned in her undergraduate coursework in her work as a lawyer. Her science and technology background is of particular value to her clients in the computer and engineering fields, online businesses, hardware and software development, medical, durable medical equipment, healthcare, construction, and manufacturing. Welcome, Jura. What a mouthful. Your background in science and technology is really extensive. I'm so glad to have you on the podcast today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, can you tell me a little bit about how you use your science and tech background in your legal work?
Well, as you know, over the years, the entire world has become more technical. We rely on the internet, we rely on technology and phones. So my practice, what I've done is I segued out of just general everyday legal work, and I have always focused on intellectual property, which has a big technical and science focus. It also has laws that cover the content on the internet, copyright law. So I litigate copyrights, patents, and trademarks. Then I also deal with technology errors and omissions. What that means is that there is a lot of mistakes. There are a lot of mistakes that are made by individuals and companies, I hate to say, that deal with technology. So we also have to deal with the errors that you face in this very fast-growing world. So what I've done is I've integrated my science background into the practice of law, because realistically, there probably aren't enough lawyers that have a combined background. And certainly the court system is not kept up with technology in terms of the court decisions. So I really focus my cases on being able to handle online retailing, technology products. I mean, just think about our world now, smart cities. It's all integrated with technology.
Wow, you know, it was never my first thought to put science and technology with law, but how important is that? It's amazing. Did you always want to be a lawyer, or did you want a career in something else when you were young?
You know, I started out my career in sciences, meaning wanting to be a physician. I had gone to dental school, so I had an extensive science background, took the organic chemistry, the biology, the developmental biology. I always had a strong science background. I loved computers in the early days of programming, pre-Windows actually, and I always would plan to work probably more in the sector of just science and technology. I fell into law probably because I had somebody refer me at a young age who said, hey, why not combine it with law? Because there just aren't a lot of people in that sector. And realistically, when I went to law school, there were a lot less people with a science background or engineering background and a legal background than there are even now. And we still don't have enough people. So it really wasn't planned. I fell into it because the science and tech side was first. The law kind of came second, and I developed a career from the two together.
That's brilliant. It's not something that I think a lot of people initially think about. And are you happy you made that decision?
I am, and I am especially happy now with the advent of technology and smart cities and nascent technologies and RFID and 3D printing. There's so many fast-moving developments, and now it makes me really happy because I feel like I have a step up and people find it fascinating that I've put the two together. And when I have to deal with other lawyers or the courts, I definitely have an advantage because I understand the technology when you're arguing about SEO searches and what is, and it's just amazing how the courts don't even understand how search engine optimization works. And it is complicated.
Could you do what you're doing now without a science and tech background?
It would be really hard. You can be a lawyer without a science and tech background, but to do what I'm doing in terms of working on developing risk modules and advising insurance companies and risk managers about all the risks that they face in using technology. If you don't understand the basics on technology, it would be really hard to do the risk analysis. Really hard.
What would be your recommendation for kids who are interested in science, but maybe haven't even considered the route that you've taken for going into law?
Just recently I listened to a report on television about the jobs and where the growth is. And I have one point that I took away that I really believe in: analytical thinking. Analytical thinking and mathematics is more science tech thinking. How you learn to think is crucial to any job and your development of the future. If you learn how to think with a technology focus analytically and with math as your basic building blocks, you're going to go further and have choices in life. People try to build a career on just having Instagram followers. It's not the followers that will give them the ultimate career. It's who built the hardware and software behind the Instagram. And I think that kids need to understand the building blocks again and understand you have to have the building blocks before you can get to the level where they dream of sometimes.
I think that's great advice. You're right. We take a lot of this tech and a lot of the science for granted, that it's just there, but knowing how it got there and why it was developed is incredibly important. You're right. That is great advice. Jura, we are so fortunate to have you with the Mentor Project, and I'm so excited for you to get into the classrooms and to be able to impart your knowledge to the next generation. And I'm also thrilled that you're able to answer questions for anyone who has them and post them online. So thank you very much for this podcast, for being with us, and for all of the mentoring that you do.
Thank you, and I look forward to working with the Mentor Project and going into the schools.
Thank you so much.